All right, amazing. Okay, thank you so much everybody for showing up again. As I mentioned, today's class is not going to be a big deal. We will be basically refreshing in regards to some of the things that we mentioned the previous class, and adding on top of that a few new things. And again, as I mentioned to you guys, today's homework is going to be something that is absolutely amazing. It's also a movie, like the previous time, but this one is truly, truly an amazing movie that I'm really hoping that you guys will have so much fun with it. And we will be building upon it a lot of things when we discuss next time. All right. So let's get straight into it. Once again, thank you so much for attending today. I hope you guys are having a wonderful time with me. Today, we are going to be discussing customers' persona and how to write your own message when it comes to communicating with the customers, and how to craft, you know, an offer that is going to be extremely valuable to them. All right. Some of the things that we will be discussing today are things that we already discussed previously. However, I'll be adding a little bit of few more details on top of that in order to make everything makes as much sense as possible. Okay, let's get straight into it. All right. So previous time, we mentioned that if you have a product, whatever this product is or whatever the service is, and you want to identify the most ideal market to sell this product or this service for, you need to follow this process right here, which is like the definition of the ideal market. So the definition of the ideal market, as we mentioned as last time, it has to has these four things. All right. It has to has an ongoing pain. That's one thing. The second thing, it needs to have a buying power, all right? And the third thing is that it needs to be easy to target. And the fourth thing is that it needs to be a growing market. So again, if you have any kind of services or any product and you want to know what's the most ideal market to sell this product for, you follow this process. You need to like this is the definition again, as I mentioned, this is the definition of the ideal market. It needs to have an ongoing pain. It should have the buying power in order to be able to purchase your product or your service. And the third thing, they are easy to target, meaning you're capable of easily finding them online or offline, and they are a growing market. So it needs to have the four things. And we did discuss a few things in regards to, what would be the things that you would do in order to properly identify like the most suitable one. And again, as I mentioned as per last time, it all depends. So if I'm in a market or in a niche that is easy to target and doesn't have that much of a buying power, then in that case, I might consider marketing for this specific persona or this specific market, but I will not be selling them a $1,000 product. I might be selling them a $7 product, right? So it's all depending on the factors and the findings that you find through going through that research process. All right. So that's the first thing that you do. This is the basis of the market research. This is how to identify your ideal market or your ideal client. Now, from that, you will start to build, your customer persona. And the definition of a customer persona is just this, just what we mentioned. But the thing is, you are adding a little bit of a human characteristics to it. For example, we have again my amazing drawings. You guys all know. We have this happy guy right here, and we want to sell him a marketing services. So this is our target audience. This guy right here. All right. Now, if I want to be a little bit more clear about this, I'll go back to the basics, which is the four criterias. Number one, he has to have an ongoing pain. So let's say that this is a gym owner. Okay. So this guy is a gym owner. His business is fitness centers and gyms, all right? And his goals is that to increase the amount of people that are subscribing to his annual subscription or monthly subscription and all of that. Okay? So that's his goal, right? So that's his pain to us, all right? Buying power, yes, he is one of the biggest gyms, let's say in California. They have, I don't know, let's say 10 sites, but for that specific sites in that specific city in California, it's not performing as good as the other sites in comparison with all of them, despite the fact that he is in a popular area or in a dense area that has a lot of people. Despite that fact, they are still not selling that much. So that's his pain, right? And the buying power, yes, he's a growing business. They got like 10 sites or something like that. Are they easy to target? Is this guy easy to find online? Probably not, right? So what does that translates into? That translates that the cost to get this guy is going to be high. Okay. So it's going to cost me a lot of money in order to get this guy. All right. But is he in a growing market, meaning that he will be in need of my services on a continuous basis and he will actually spend more money with me over time? Yes, he's a growing business. He started off, let's say, for example, with one site and they grew into like 10 sites so far right now. So yes, that's a growing business. So to me, that's my ideal market. That's my persona. So what is the customer persona? The customer persona is, again, as I mentioned, you are trying to add human characteristics to all of this right there, right? So let's say this guy's name is Chris. Okay. Chris, he is 34 years old. Um he is making let's say 150,000 per annum. All right. This is how much money he's making. Yes, he is a male. He is from the US and all of that. You are adding human characteristics to your ideal market. That's basically the persona. A lot of people do go through lots of more definitions and trying to complicate things when it comes to understanding that. But to me personally, it's very easy and it's very simple. It doesn't need so much sophistications to it. It's quite simple and easy. But again, your basis is based on that right here. It's based on understanding that. So once you have this in mind and written down throughout the research that you will be doing, it will be very easy to create this. But why would you want to even create a customer persona? Like, what's in it for you? Why is that like an important thing for you to do? That's a good question, right? Well, in my opinion, the reason why you would want to do a customer persona is due to the fact it will make it easier for you when it comes to communicating with them, right? Because in your head, you already like visualized the type of customer or the actual person that you're going to be speaking with um, throughout your messages when you are doing any kind of marketing activities. And this is what we're talking about right here, right? So to add a little bit more of a human characteristics to that, let's say he like this guy Chris, he likes baseball, for example, right? Or he goes to lots of baseball events or something like that. So that's a piece of information that we got from our research, right? And based on that, we are personalizing the message a little bit. We're going to be personalizing our messaging a little bit. Or at least based on that, we will know where is this guy. And based on that, we will be able to determine whether or not he's easy to target. So let's say this guy, Chris, and all of the guys that are like him, they spend most of their time on Instagram. Okay. So that's a piece of information. All right. So that means that there is a high probability that I'll find more Chris on Instagram than, let's say, Pinterest, for example, because Pinterest is a platform that is mostly consumed by females, right? So based on that piece of information, I'll be able to identify where to find him online or offline if I'm doing any kind of offline marketing activities. And an example for that would be something like the baseball events, right? If that's a thing, I don't know, to be honest. But if that's a thing, then I would want, as a business, as a marketing agency, for example, I would want to join some of those events as a sponsor and talk about my services because I know that there is a high probability that I'll find more of this guy in such events, right? And by the way, one of the sponsors for the private jets, so the private jets community, each and every year they do like an annual kind of event where they showcase like lots of companies showcase their private jets and whatnot, and they attract lots of billionaires and millionaires and multi-millionaires for sure. But who is the number one sponsors to most of those events is Rolls-Royce. So Rolls-Royce already knows that their persona or their ideal customer is going to be there, right? Because you're in an event talking about like private jets and whatnot, like the minimum of them is going to be like in the range of 10 million, right? And for you to spend like 100,000 on a car, that's nothing, right? So they know where their audience or where their people are. And based on that, they take on the decisions in order to find like the kind of the marketing activities that are relevant to be able to find them, whether that's through the social events or online through Instagram. So in that example, for this example, I know that Chris is most likely is going to be on Instagram. Then based on that, I'll be increasing all of my marketing activities on Instagram based on that, right? And you type all of these things down, and I would recommend you run them through an AI like Claude or ChatGPT or something like that, in order to be able to like streamline all of the information that you had based on all of the givens or all of the things that you added. So once you created your persona, now we go to the next step. All right. Now I know my people. Now I know where they are, but I don't know what to say to them. So there is a template. It's called the $1 million template. It's one of
Before
the
you go forward,
yeah. Go ahead.
can I just ask one question?
Yes.
Chris is our customer, right? So we're targeting him.
Yes.
Our market questions are A, B, and C, pain point, and what did you else you say? Buying power, easy to target, growing. Those are our questions.
Yes.
The customer persona are the responses to our questions. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. That's a good way to look at
So,
it. Yes.
so the question I have is, when did we have that discussion?
What do you mean?
When did we collect that information? Because Chris is coming to us cold call, or is he at the end of
No,
an advert
like
and
that.
watching us?
Yes, yes,
I don't
I
understand.
get the point. So this is always going to be mostly hypothetical, but it's going to be data backed. So how would you do so is through actually leveraging Google and specifically the US, because the US has the most data. So when it comes to that specifically, I'll try to Google a few things within the IRS in order to determine like an averages when it comes to income for people who are business owners or like gym owners. And the AI is going to
Okay.
be extremely helpful when it comes to that. So most of that you will
Okay. All right. So your response is basically you're not talking to a person called Chris. You're talking to a database
yes,
already
yes.
established.
And based on that, yeah, you are trying to create that kind of person or imaginary character that you call Chris, just to be able to better communicate when you actually find the real Chris. Does that make any sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. All right. So let's say currently, You found Chris, right? So you finally found Chris. That's Chris right here. And happy guy. And finally, you found Chris. But here's the thing. You know almost everything about this guy based on the research that you did and based on all of the information that you have. But when you try to speak with him, you have nothing to say because you did not prepare for that. You prepared to know all about him, but you didn't actually know what to say to him when you find him. So that moves us to the next step, which is the message, or how are you going to be communicating with your ideal audience? Again, this is a very popular copywriting template. It's called the $1 million template. It's kind of like a one-liner, but usually based on what you do, it can go a little bit long. It goes like this: I help X do Y without them spending Z in specific time frame. And it's all going to be making sense in a moment. But just to put you in the picture, I'll go with my own template. So my business is this. I help coaches and consultants build, launch, and scale their online coaching business without the hassle to manage multiple freelancers and be profitable within the first 90 days. So that's my message. That's whenever someone asks me, what do you do? I would say this. Or whenever someone who is in my target audience is going to be asking me or discussing with me what it is that you do, I would say this, right? So again, the template itself is that I help X do Y without them spending Z in specific time frame. But in order to be able to understand this message and where it exactly came from, you will need to understand this. This is called the value equation, and the value equation is a very popular thing. I think that the person who coined that term is Alex Hormozzi. I heard it first time from that guy. So basically, he created some kind of an equation that, based on the givens that you add into it, the output is going to be different, and it's going to be actually quite helpful to you. And the more you manipulate the inputs, the better or worse the output is going to be. And it's all going to be making sense in a moment. So what is the value equation? This is the value equation. The value equation is that you write two things at the top and two things at the bottom, and you try to like create a line in the middle, just like that. At the top left corner, you'll have the dream outcome. And at the top right, you will have the likelihood of achievement. Bottom left, time delay. Bottom right, effort and sacrifice. I'll explain everything in a moment. So for the dream outcome, this is everything your ideal customer wants. So if we're going to be talking about Chris again, right here, Chris, we're going to be talking about this guy. He has a gym and he wants to grow his business. So we will write this down. He has a gym, wants to grow his business, wants to expand in more sites, wants to have more subscribers, more annual subscribers, and all of that. We will like add in bullet points of all of the things that our ideal customer would want to have, right? So this is their dream outcome. And the likelihood of achievement is in here. You would like add testimonials of your services, case studies of the maybe businesses that you worked with before, maybe a little bit more testimonials, video testimonials, stuff like that. You will include all of this in here. And in time delay, you will be mentioning the time duration needed in order to fulfill the dream outcome. So you'll be adding all of that down. And in effort or sacrifice, you will be mentioning any kind of effort done by the customer or any sacrifice, financial sacrifice done by the customer. You'll be adding all of that down. All right. So for that to make a little bit more sense, I'll add a little bit of an example here. So let's say I am a personal trainer. I train people to lose weight. And if you train with me, I promise you that within 60 days, you will lose 10 pounds, for example. Okay. So that's your dream outcome, is to lose 10 pounds in 60 days. Okay. So we'll write this down. Okay. Now, what's the likelihood of achieving that? I will show you previous people or case studies of previous people that I worked with and actually lost like the 10 pounds in less than the 60-day duration. So I will show you proof of the results that I'm promising you with. And the time delay, that will be 60. Effort or sacrifice, there will be lots of training, so there will be lots of effort. And the sacrifice, let's say you pay me like a monthly subscription of $20 per month. So that's going to be $40 for the 60 days. Okay. All right. So this is what I'm doing. But again, like, what is the value equation? Here's the thing. With the value equation, your goal is that the two things at the top right here, these two things, you would need to increase them as much as you can and empathize them as much as you can. And for the things that are at the bottom, you would need to decrease them as much as you can. So to give you an example in order to further illustrate this, let's say the same goal, losing 10 pounds in 60 days. That's my goal. That's my goal. Okay. All right. But what if you will lose 10 pounds in one day and it's 100% effective? I have proof of everyone doing this. I have proof of this guy doing this. I have proof of this guy recommending this and all of that. So I'm increasing the likelihood of achievement in your head, in the prospect's head, right? And the time delay, instead of 60 days, it's just one day. And the effort, and instead of training for 60 days, there's no effort. You'll be laying on the bed and you won't be doing anything. So the effort is minimized. But the financial sacrifice is almost maxified. So let's say that this operation is going to cost, this medical operation is going to cost, let's say, for example, I don't know, $2,000, for example. So that's from $40 to $2,000. But here's the thing. The fact that the time delay is low and the likelihood of achievement is high, the dream outcome is extremely high. All of this, and the effort is extremely low as well. All of this subsidizes the fact that this is expensive, right? So instead of me waiting 60 days to lose 10 pounds, I'm only going to be getting this done in just one day, and everything is going to be done, right? So this is the value equation. The value equation, again, as they mentioned, you start with the dream outcome, the likelihood of achievement, and your goal is to try to maximize the inputs that you got in here, in the top two things. And the time delay and the effort or sacrifice, your goal is to minimize them as much as you can. And then the final outcome, or this equation, is going to equal value. And when you manipulate or adjust a little bit of the inputs here, here, and here, that will affect the output, which is the value. So when you play around with it, you can actually increase the value of the product based on the things that you change in here. So I'll give you one last example when it comes to that. Let's go back in time like 30 years or something, okay? My goal here, watch a new movie. So 30 years ago, for me to watch a movie, I had two options. Option number one, go to the cinema. Option number two, go to like DVD store and find the movie and rent. Okay. Well, there is a high likelihood of going to the movies or like going to the cinema and watching a movie and whatnot, but maybe like the options that I would find there are not the best. And if I went to like the DVD store, yeah, maybe the things that I'll see there wouldn't be that much of an interest to me. So yeah, it's going to happen, but it's not the best. The time delay, well, I'll have to get up. I'll have to, prepare. I'll have to walk or use any kind of transportation method to go to the cinema or the DVD store. So there's a big time delay. The effort, I'm doing lots of physical effort. Sacrifice, I'm paying a lot of money just to watch a movie, right? And if I'm going to like the DVD store, then I need to have the DVD actual device in order to be able to run the movie and watch it. So the effort and sacrifice, that's high. Now, let's do this. Again, same dream outcome. I just want to watch a movie. Have you ever heard of Netflix before? Likelihood of achievement? It's in your hand, literally in your hand. So extremely high likelihood of achievement. Time delay, just a few clicks away. So the time delay here is reduced to a minimum. The effort, do you call this an effort? Do you call tapping your phone an effort? So yeah, the effort is also minimized to a minimum. Sacrifice, financial sacrifice, I'm only paying like $20 a month and I'll get a huge library of movies and TV series and programs, right? So what did happen here? What happened here? What happened here is that based on the adjustments of the inputs that you had here, here, and here, you were able to maximize the the value that you're giving out, right? You're definitely doing lots of adjustments when it comes to the product itself. That's a definite for sure. But again, like the main goal here is to look at it, as I mentioned, right? Is to try to maximize the dream outcome as you can, try to maximize the likelihood of achievement and you can, and minimize the time delay as much as you can, minimize the effort and sacrifice as much as you can. Once you do so, you will have an invaluable product. You will have a product that has so much value. And based on that, you will be able to craft a better message, a better $1 million message, which is again, I help X do Y without them spending Z in specific time frame, right? Based on the adjustments that you did here, you'll be able to adjust the message here, right? But again, for you to be able to even write the message, you will need to know your market. You will need to know your persona, the people that you are speaking with. Who are you speaking with? Okay. So that's that's basically everything here. And I just want to end with one last thing. So now you have the product, now you have the market, and you know where they are, and now you have the message. You know what to say when you find them. The next step is how to actually find them and how to actually market for them. And this is going to be our main topic next time. That's why today's homework is going to be extremely, extremely crucial because it covers a huge part of that for us. But before I do so, we have 4 minutes. So if anyone have questions in the last 2 minutes, please go ahead.
Hello, it's me, Guy. Um, okay, so I understand the process, which I've mentioned last week. Yeah, so you're going into the market, you have to define your market, you have to define your product. In this case, you're defining your customer as well.
Yes.
And in that conversation with yourself, you're physically talking to no one. You're physically talking to a database, extracting out statistical information. So at this point, you not talk to a customer at all. But you're saying when you do talk to a customer, bear in mind the customer has a value on your product, on your offering. Yeah. So bring this value equation into play so that you can raise the valuation in the customer's mind before he makes a buy or walk away decision.
Yes. Yes.
The obvious, it's obviously a quadrant where you have to raise A, B, and C and reduce D or something like that.
Yes.
Anyway,
Yes.
right? So that's fair enough, right? That's your value equals A, B, C, D. But this conversation with the customer, let's say I ring you up, ring, ring. Hello, Mustafa. I
Hi,
want to
guy.
sell you a product. Yeah,
Okay.
I want to sell you a product. Um, the dream is D. The likelihood is L. The time delay is T, and the effort for you is E. Right?
Okay.
Go ahead and create a valuation in your mind. You're the customer. I'm the seller. Yeah. Wouldn't it be better to under to start off with a low value and then improve the valuation? So I give you first valuation
Yes, yes.
V1.
I'm sorry, I'll need to cut you off because we have just 2 minutes. So yes, I completely agree. Again, as I mentioned in the beginning, if the ideal customer that I'm having or like the ideal market, their buying power is low, then based on that, I'll craft an offer that is going to be suitable for that buying power. So instead of selling them a $1,000 service, I'll sell them a $7 ebook, for example. So yes, this is something that you can do, and based on that, you can further on improve. So yes, just to answer your question, absolutely yes. But
Good.
we'll continue again, but this will be unrecorded. This will be for private guys. But just for the sake of this recording, thank you everybody for tuning in. Today's homework is going to be watching
Thank you.
Netflix documentary. It's called The Social Dilemma. You'll be able to find it on the website that we mentioned previously, which is hdtoday.cc. I'll make sure to also send you the link for that. I'll end this recording, and we can join again through the same link if you guys want to join. This will be only questions. I'm done with illustrating today's class. Once again, thank you so much, guys, for attending, and rejoin again, okay?